Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors at Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in Birmingham within 1 hour. County lines and gang violence is not something you normally associate with 81-year-olds. This pensioner found himself drawn into a case which involved a man running away, going abroad after a violent stabbing in Bognor Regis. Ian Hemmens helped out the suspects Akeem Adebayo and Mahmoud Sami. They nearly killed Demetrius Semilis. The pensioner drove to Bognor Regis on March the 10th. They confronted Demetrius and he also picked them up afterwards. Porthsmouth Crown Court heard that the two men chased Demetrius in front of families and children. Adebayo then held Demetrius on the ground and shouted, "Just effing stab him," and Sami did so 5 or 6 times. 81-year-old Ian Hemmens was from Chichester in West Sussex and he remained in contact with Sami and arranged for him to bring the car to the pickup point. The prosecution said that Mr. Sami was seen sprinting to the car, jumped into the back of the car and disappeared into the footwell. So he jumped into it as in so the driver fully knew what was happening and that he was getting in there to hide. Assisting the offender was effective. It not only took Mr. Sami from the scene and prevented his arrest, it also allowed Mr. Sami to leave Chichester area and then the country. The last known whereabouts was on a flight to Bahrain. All the ports in the local countries are looking out for him, but none of them have been triggered yet. The victim, Demetrius, who is a Lithuanian national, suffered a punctured lung and was in a life-threatening condition, but survived after receiving medical treatment very soon after. Ian, a retired burger van worker, was jailed for 9 months. The 81-year-old was jailed for 9 months. His co-defendant, Adebayo, the one that is still in the country, is from London. So this whole thing that they've said is basically a county lines operation. They were selling drugs in Bognor Regis and this guy they stabbed was their rival drug dealer. He was jailed for 9 years for wounding with intent and 2 charges of possessing cocaine and heroin with intent to supply. The judge said Ian associated with an offender and drove him away from the scene, and you knew he was involved in a serious assault. You saw blood on him and you undoubtedly knew he was involved in drug dealing. Your involvement was considerable and not just one journey, you made several on that day and you would have further contact with him even after the incident. Your age and appearance made you unlikely to draw attention from the police or the public. His defence said that it was very strange that he'd been involved with this gang and the fact that he was lonely and that's why he liked to talk to people and that's how it all started. So I'm not sure, it may have been a contributing factor to be lonely, but I don't think that's an excuse for getting involved in gang violence. So at the same time, I thought it was an interesting story just due to the rarity of it, because it's not every day that you get a pensioner who's up in court involved with being a getaway driver for an attack, because selling drugs is very profitable and there's also many different ways that people will attempt to do it. Today, from the Metropolitan Police website, 2 guys from London have been jailed for their role in trying to export cocaine from Harrods. 2 men tried to smuggle Class A drugs in books via a luxury department store and their shipping service. Glenn Appleby, who is 53, and Mark Warner, who is 52, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to evade the prohibition of exportation of Class A drugs on Wednesday the 18th of August. On Tuesday the 29th of October, both were sentenced to 5 years in prison at the same court. The court heard Appleby and Warner both went into the store seconds apart. Warner was in possession of a shopping bag with items in it. Each headed to the book department and hid behind a bookshelf. Here, Warner got rid of the items in the bag and gave the bag to Appleby, who put it away in his pocket. Warner then headed to the till and requested for the 2 books to be shipped to Australia, paying by cash. Staff at Harrods became concerned from the order when they noted one book was in very poor condition and the other one they recognised had been purchased from the store earlier that day. The men were followed by security staff. Upon inspection of both the books, they were found to contain 8 packages of Class A drugs. Police were called and the books and the contents were seized. Upon examination, the books contained almost 8 kilos of 92% pure cocaine, with an estimated street value in Australia of 1.84 million. CCTV footage showed them in the store on Monday the 15th of January and again on the 27th of February. The pair had visited Harrods 5 times, purchasing books and computer games and paying for their items to be dispatched to Australia. An investigation was launched by the Central West Gang Unit, and Appleby and Warner were identified as being responsible. Search warrants were executed in May and both were arrested and charged with exportation of illegal drugs. So these guys maybe found a little loophole in the mailing service for Harrods. I'm not sure, because it seems here that they've tried it several times, and the police said that they believe it was a sophisticated operation and these guys was just like part of the operation. There wasn't the top guys involved. But I've never heard of this. I've never heard of them trying to use a department store shipping service to import drugs. But then again, people would try any way to get drugs around the world. They will always be creative. So I really want to hear what people have to say on both these stories. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Scarcity Studios. Thank you for joining me. Peace.